YCS Pasadena was amazing. No, seriously, it was an amazing event, even though I wasn't there. But I was there in spirit for all of the toostronk disciples putting in that work, having fun. One thing I do want to make note about YCS Pasadena, because I did see pretty much the entire stream, was that players were complaining that there were the same decks. Oh, it's just Orchist. Oh, it's just Sky Striker. And even in the finals, it was almost legitimately Sky Striker versus Sky Striker. One thing I will have to say is that the format is changing. It's becoming a lot more diverse. And in this video, I'm going to be telling you guys some of the secret techs in the meta that you can be playing to beat some of the strongest decks. I'm TheCaliEffect, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, then of course you should destroy that subscribe button. But also, be sure to hit that notification bell because, well, we just too strong. So without further ado, I present to you the secret techs or the cards you should be running for the 2019 meta. Okay guys, so again, we watched a ton of stream and every single card on this list was played on the stream and made some type of impact. I want you guys to know about these cards because you could be using them whether you're playing a meta deck or not. The first card is going to be Forbidden Chalice. Forbidden Chalice is one of my favorite cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's actually one of the most busted cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of that quick play symbol. It allows you to activate its effects during the damage step because it does have an attack modifier, and it also allows you to negate monster effects. Forbidden Chalice is a little bit different from Infinite Impermanence, as Infinite Impermanence can be activated in your hand immediately on your opponent's turn, but Forbidden Chalice can not only serve as an Infinite Impermanence during your turn, it's a cheaper budget option and can be used in the damage step. You combine that with Forbidden Chalice being able to actually give monsters attacks, so in clutch situations you can boost your monster a little bit stronger than the opponent's to win that battle. Forbidden Chalice is just insane. Look out for this card, because Forbidden Chalice is still a negation card, it wrecks the meta, and it can't be stopped by, you know, Call by the Grave and stuff like that. Different Dimension Ground is so amazing in so many great matchups. Take, for example, Solomon Great, who wants to have those cards like the Gazelle in the graveyard to recycle with Solomon Great Sunlight Wolf. Well, seeing that you Different Dimension Ground your opponent, they're not going to be seeing that Solomon Great Gazelle back into their hand anytime soon. The Orchis matchup is quite interesting, because if you use it at the right time, they won't be able to activate the effects of monsters like Mathematician, Armageddon Knight, or Dark Grepher to send the appropriate cards that they need from the deck to the graveyard to start off their combos. Against Orchis overall, it might seem like a good idea, but Orchis just plays with Banishment really well, so it's actually a great card to have in your sideboard. Different Dimension Ground was wrecking so many decks. It's actually a lot better against some of the rogue matchups than it is against the meta, but even against the meta, it can prove its worth. Evenly Matched is a card that me and the competition just could never be at, but this card is insanely powerful in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game right now. The Sky Striker matchup used to laugh at Evenly Matched. You would banish all their face downs, and then they just play the resource game again and get all of them right back. Nowadays, Evenly Matched can be a very scary card against them, especially seeing that Sky Striker doesn't play any negations anymore. There's no Solemn Judgments running around in most Sky Striker builds. So they won't be able to stop you wiping their entire back row away and play Yu-Gi-Oh! On your terms. Against some of the other matchups, Evenly Matched could come in clutch against a certain Orcus type strategy, but I wouldn't count it as consistently clutch against the deck itself. And against Solomon Great, they'll always, or should always, have an access to Solomon Great Roar, or Rage, Roar, I think it's Roar. The trap one that negates. Meaning that we can't consistently count on Evenly Matched to turn the board in our favor. Let's face it, Evenly Matched was stupid busted when it came out. But now, the Resource game makes Evenly Matched a fair and balanced card, waiting for particular meta decks to be able to become its prey. I think it's an amazing card and has so many good rogue matchups, it's definitely a card you should be looking into. Like Topologic Bomber Dragon, Topologic Zero Boros is a card that everyone should fear at this point in the game. Its first effect is lackluster. You can't summon monsters to where the link arrow points to, meaning that if you put it in your extra monster zone, there's no additional linking with this card. There's also no extra linking with this card, because this card could form a V-link. But its advantages are just really, really good. This card gains 200 attack for each banished card. Think Green Maju de Iza, but it gains 200 attack for when your opponent's desires and when you desires. And the fact that it's already 3,000 attack, I want you guys to add up. If you activated desires or your opponent activates the desires, and in this day and age, almost every deck has some banishing cards, this guy can be extremely strong. If your opponent has to summon to where its link arrow points to, well, they're in trouble. Because this card not only banishes itself, it banishes every other card on the field. And then it returns to the side of the field. Topologic Zero Boros is amazing. It can be the hugest monster in the game most games. If you don't have it, I don't know what to tell you, bro. You should probably be getting it. It's only $1, so it ain't that bad. MEISTER is another card that had me scratching my head when I seen players play it. I was like, why play this card over DD Crow? And then you start to realize that MEISTER has interactions that DD Crow doesn't. Take, for example, DD Crow can banish a card from the graveyard, but does it stop the monster effect? If your opponent is playing a deck like Thunder Dragon and they use Thunder Dragon Dark or Thunder Dragon Roar for a link summon trying to trigger its effect, how do you stop that with DD Crow? The problem is, you don't. But MEISTER actually does. This card allows you to negate monster effects that are in the graveyard. MEISTER is just that card. It's really good alongside DD Crow, and if you ask me, it's probably one of the better hand traps in an era where I think hand traps just aren't good. Yes, that's right. I'm like the 4th time saying hand traps are not good. I will say it for a very long time. I can't wait to make that video. Shared Ride popped up in quite a few players' decks. I mean, if you like to search, I like to search too. Shared Ride is a poor man's Maxi in an era where we have no Maxis, so it's kind of like a rich man's Maxi where we don't have any Maxis. Or is it still a poor man's Maxi, but we're all poor? Huh. Anyways, what Shared Ride does is it allows you to search every time your opponent searches. Now, I want you guys to go back to that Sky Striker matchup. They love to search cards, and anytime they search, you get to search, which is amazing. There are quite a few decks that love to go through a ton of resources, digging card for card to find the right pieces to the puzzle. I mean, I would love to share that ride too. I want to draw cards and add cards to my hand as many times as you add cards. It's only fair, right? Share Ride has just always been a good card, popping in and out of the meta when the time is seeing fit. And anytime your opponent wants to search a ton, I mean, Shared Ride can always be considered an option. I think personally, the best card from Chaos Impact is IP Maskerena. I've been saying this for quite some time. Now granted, Starlead Seyfried is amazing, but you won't hear that from me until I get my playset. The IP Maskerena allows you to link summon on your opponent's turn. If you guys have played Yu-Gi-Oh! At 2010 and remember Formula Synchron, I'm pretty sure you remember how good or how bad that has changed the format depending on how you look at it. IP Maskerena is the exact same thing. It allows you to link summon into a Nightmare Phoenix on your opponent's turn for immediate disruption, and if they do have a link arrow, you get to draw a card on your opponent's turn. I love that. That's just amazing. If you're summoning Nightmare Unicorn, you get immediate disruption. Summoning Nightmare Cerberus, immediate disruption, or you can summon Mech Knight Crusadia Avermax and have that monster not only be able to win almost every single battle, but also be indestructible, because IP Maskerena does have another unique effect. The monster link summon with this card cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, meaning that any monster that you do summon off of IP Maskerena gets a little bit stronger. I think that this was the best card again from the Chaos Impact set, and $30 is still really cheap. If you guys can afford to get this card, I would pick them up right now before the other players catch up. They're glue eaters, so you might want to do that because they're almost out of glue. Trap Trick is a fun card. Let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, Artifact Lancia is here to stay in this format, and Artifact Scythe is a card that is just amazing. So what happens when you're playing a deck that isn't too great going first? Well, you play Artifact Lancia and Artifact Scythe, and then you play Artifact Sanctum to be able to special summon Artifact Scythe on your opponent's turn or get into your Artifact Sanctum, or I'm sorry, your Artifact Lancia. Well, how can we get into that Artifact Sanctum even faster? Well, I mean, there's Trap Trick. It allows you to banish a normal trap, set a normal trap. You can banish different dimension ground, set different dimension ground. You can banish Artifact Sanctum, set an Artifact Sanctum. That alone should give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ways to be able to get into your artifact monsters on the first turn. I think that Trap Trick is an underrated card because there are so many great normal trap cards in Yu-Gi-Oh right now. I mean, heck, right now, it feels like storming Mirror Force, the way that players just disrespect back row, can be extremely powerful. Now, I wouldn't set this with Trap Trick, it's a terrible idea, but still, this card, Trap Trick, will allow you to play the going first game when your opponent forces you to go first and still be able to shut out your opponent, instantly giving you the game. The last card we are going to discuss, I felt that this card had a huge impact at YCS Pasadena, is DD Crow. DD Crow is hands down the best hand trap in Yu-Gi-Oh right now, with Skullmeister probably being a close second if not first. Then Artifact Lancia kind of fits somewhere in there, and then Nibiru would be amazing if Sky Striker wasn't a thing. But DD Crow is the best hand trap in Yu-Gi-Oh, hands down. Why? Well, because DD Crow hits in a graveyard important format. Any good graveyard card. Oh, your opponent wants to use that Sky Striker Ace Kagari to recur that Mobilize Engage? It'd be a shame if I threw a DD Crow in my graveyard. Oh, your opponent wants to start doing Orcus things, and yeah, no, that Harp Horror you wanted to get in your graveyard, or in your graveyard, I'm gonna go ahead and preemptively banish it, and now you can try to continue off with your combo. DD Crow has applications against every single deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Just about. Almost every deck needs the graveyard. DD Crow is a solid option to it, and the best thing about it is that it's not a once per turn. If you open multiple copies of DD Crow, you don't have to worry. You can just activate multiple copies. It's not like Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, because decks are so good at covering up choke points, they can't cover up a DD Crow target. It's extremely hard. Oh, that's pretty much it for all of the important meta cards that you guys need to know about. I've been TheCaliEffect, and I really hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys really did enjoy the video, consider joining our Patreon. We have a ton of awesome rewards. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, of course, enjoy. I hope you guys are having an insane day like I am.